Good day, all you beautiful beings. Thank you so much for checking out our brand new YouTube channel, Making Medicine Online. My name is Makapia Black Elk, and I'm coming to you live from Albuquerque's South Valley, aka the beautiful Tiwa Territory. Um, right now we're all practicing social distancing, so um, we just want to remind folks that stay safe, stay healthy, stay home. It's all of our responsibility to make sure that the most vulnerable of our people and of our relatives stay safe at this time. So we all have to do our part. And while we practice this time of being physically apart, we thought it'd be great if we can come together online and make our medicine here. So we don't mean medicine as in the pills you get from the pharmacy or things like that. We mean medicine as the things that bring you joy, that bring you balance, or that bring you purpose, right? So every day of the week, we're going to have different topics and different guests and different things for you to watch and engage in. Today and every Monday, I'm going to be hosting Monday Mindfulness with MBE. Tomorrow and every Tuesday, Miss Jessica Helen Lopez is going to be hosting Poetry Cafe with Auntie Jessica, where you're going to hear a poem, read a poem, and write a poem. Wednesday, we have a special guest, Glenn Budafunk Benavides, aka Mr. B. He is a Naka Elementary School teacher who will host Music is Medicine. Then on Thursday, we're going to have our lead Hiopo uncle, Antro. He will host a segment called Finding Your Fire. And then we're going to wrap up the week on Friday with indigenous storytelling and native filmmaking with Tio Angel and Uncle Littlebird. So we look forward to making this channel come to life with all of your help. And please don't forget to subscribe, share these videos, and get notifications. And we appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. Alrighty, welcome to this segment of our show. It is called Monday Mindfulness with MBE. I'm Makpia Black Elk. This is baby girl Ember Luna, and we're coming to you from our living room. Um, so every Monday we're going to be doing a little bit of some mindfulness activities. Today we're going to talk about why mindfulness. We're going to talk about the impacts of stress on our body, and we're going to talk about the benefits of mindfulness. I'll lead you through an activity that we'll do together. We'll have a little bit of a meditation, and then we'll send you on your way. So thanks for joining in. Here we go. Yeah, so when we think about stress, stress has a lot of crazy impacts on our body. Aside from, feeling clenched up, we feel in our shoulders, we feel in our jaws, sometimes our eyebrows furrow and things like that. Um, Stress has an impact on our brain as well. And, for example, stress can impact our prefrontal cortex, our hippocampus, and that can impact the way that we learn, the way we plan and think ahead. It can impact the way we remember things, and those sorts of things, and those impacts to our brain. That changes the way we sleep. It impacts the pleasure that we find in doing things, and really messes with our energy levels. So we want to try to combat that stress and that trauma with a bit of mindfulness. So what is mindfulness, you ask? Good question. Mindfulness is, it's about being present. It's about being deeply aware of what's going on outside of you and inside of you, realizing that there is only this moment exists right now. Like the things that bother us from the past, those don't exist anymore. The things that we're worried about in the future, they're not here yet. So um, being mindful is really engaging in being in the present. Yeah, so this week's mindfulness activity is one that I recently learned. It's called CLCBE, which stands for Calculate, Locate, Communicate, Breathe, and Exhale. And this is particularly a great exercise when you're dealing with stress, when you find yourself in a certain situation. It's really powerful to be able to identify what you're feeling, how much you're feeling it, and where you're feeling it. And then, once we're able to do that, we kind of breathe, we exhale, and we bring down the intensity of that stress, and we're able to kind of go forward clear thinking. So I wanted to share mine, and if you want to share yours, leave it in the comments. But also, I connect this with my Facebook. So I do have some Facebook comments. Every Friday, I'll be posting what I'm going to be talking about next week and giving people the weekend to talk about it. And I'll read some of the responses here. Um, but yeah, so this week, thinking about how all of this, how the virus and social distancing and everything is impacting me. Um, the first thing I want to do is calculate, like, how intense is this feeling that I'm feeling? And for me, from a scale of 0 to 10, I'm feeling like about a level 7. Um, and that comes from this type of stress of like this anxiety of being stuck inside, and also a bit of sadness, that I work at a school and I'm not going to be able to see the young people that I work with for the rest of the year, for the rest of the semester, and possibly the summer. And that means that I probably won't be able to get to see them until fall. um, a lot of the young people I work with are seniors, and it makes me incredibly sad to know that the last time I saw them was like the last class that we would have together. So yeah, so the intensity of it's about a 7 for that anxiety and for that sadness. When I feel anxiety, locate. So this is where we're going to locate it. When I feel that anxiety, I kind of feel it in my hands. I get kind of fidgety. I feel it in my legs. Um, and I get this urge that I need to like go, and it's hard to just sit and be present and kind of sit with that uncomfortableness. And then that sadness that I'm feeling, there's a bit in my heart here and in my throat. It's like when you watch a sad movie and you get a little bit choked up. That's where I'm feeling it on my body. Um, so when we communicate, that's the C part of it. Um, we talk about like self images and self talk that we have to get ourselves through it. I realize that a lot of my anxiety from being stuck in one place is coming from, oftentimes I use being busy as a mechanism, as a coping mechanism for not having to deal with the things, both physically and emotionally, that I kind of put off. So communicating, this is self talk, self images that come to mind when I'm thinking about this. Yeah, that anxiety that I'm feeling, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And I think a lot of it for me is that I use being busy and always being on the go as maybe a coping mechanism, um, to deal with the things that I avoid, both physically, both emotionally. Um, there's projects around my house that I have to do that I'm like, I can't do that right now, I'm busy. Or there's emotions that, sometimes we suppress emotions, and when you finally get time to be with yourself, those kind of come up. So, what I've been really doing to do that is, I use that anxiety, I use that energy that I have um, to work in my yard, to work on projects that I have done, and each project that I finish, um, I really get this sense of completion and sense of relief. Like, man, there's this thing I've been putting off for a long time, and now it's finally done. So one thing that I've been doing to not be overwhelmed with all the things that I need to get done is that I've made a checklist. Um, I kind of put towards the top things that I can get done quickly, and I also mix in there with things that take a little bit more time. So that way, I don't put the biggest project on top and then I never get it done and then I don't feel accomplished with anything. So that's part of my strategy of what I'm doing. Um, and then with those emotions, those things that that come up when you're finally still, when you finally sit still. I've been doing a lot of writing lately. I have some journaling that I'm doing, and um, without judgment or anything of that, I just writing what I feel, right? For me, it's a lot of grief. I've had to deal with a lot of deaths this year, um, and so there's a little bit of underlying sadness with that. There's anxiety. There's this worry of like, how crazy is this virus that we're dealing with, and am I going to get sick? Are my loved ones going to get sick? So just kind of writing those things out, and it's a bit of catharsis to be able to get that out, and that's been super helpful. Is thinking about the stress and anxiety and that sadness that I'm feeling, my fidgety hands, that lump in my throat. I just want to acknowledge that without judgment and just say it is what it is. And the last two steps, is to breathe and exhale. So I'm going to take a deep breath in exhale. And as I do that, I find that that intensity, the fidgetiness in my hands, that lump in my throat eases, right? Once I acknowledge it, once I recognize it and breathe through it, it's a huge help. And every time I do that, it brings that intensity of that stress just a little bit down every day. So, yeah, I put that out there on my Facebook, and I was like, yeah. So, what are you feeling? Where do you feel it? What's some self-talk that you have? So I'm going to read one of my comments here. This first one is from an old friend of mine, Megan Long. So she talked about seeing the rampant spread of misinformation and blatant disregard for science and truth is making her irritated. Seeing the pain and suffering caused by the racist president against the Asian community is especially irritating and makes me angry. Yeah, and where she feels it, so she feels it in her hands, she feels it in her cheeks, they get hot, and she wants to scream. So, and communicating, so part of the self-talk that she has is learning to pick her battles, and who to confront is something that she has to work on. She's not allowing the anger to eat her up or immobilize her, and she's redirecting that energy into spreading positivity into the Asian community and showing them support, and that's a better use of her time. So that was a good one. Thank you for sharing that. So for this last part, I'd like to invite you to participate in a meditation exercise that I do. This one I refer to as the 7 breaths or 7 directions. And really I'm setting my breath out to each direction and finding myself back at the center, reminding myself who I am, where I am, when I am, and just finding that peace of mind. I like to do this particularly after I'm done traveling, or when I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable with my own skin. It really helps bring me back to being centered. So the way I do it is I start off by facing west. This is where we start most of our prayers, thinking about where the sun sets and where the rain comes in from. And yeah, I like to have a good solid standing, feet flat on the ground. I try to relax my body and just really bring my attention and my focus back to my breath. I start off by sending a breath out, and when I do that, I'm thinking about that breath and energy and awareness going around the world, all the way down the South Pole, back around up to the North Pole, and to the back of my head. And then as I breathe in, I'm bringing that attention and breath and everything from the back of my head back around the world and back to the front again. And so I do that. I face north. Again, same thing. Heading east, same thing. South. For these last ones, I go for this one, from the bottom of my feet all the way up past my head and into the cosmos. And then bringing that back down. Thinking about from our ground and back all the way up, drawing that energy from the earth. And lastly, at my very center, well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please check out the rest of our YouTube videos the rest of this week. Please remember to subscribe and share our videos. And be well. Remember that you and each person is deserving of respect and dignity and to be healthy and happy. Later.